You Jake Sully?
I'd like to talk to you about a fresh start on a new world. You'd be making a difference.
So the new Avatar is coming out at the end of this year in December, unless it gets delayed. And seeing the trailer for it, I was thinking, okay, it's been a while since I've seen the first Avatar. I don't have it, and I figured, you know what? I'm gonna get a copy of it, especially the extended cut, because I've never seen the extended cut. I was not enoughly enamored with the movie to like seek out the extended cut. It's like, okay, I'm gonna watch it again. I might as well get the extended cut. And I watched it, and I had some thoughts on it. By the way, I'm going to be talking about spoilers, so yeah. Let's get into it.
They've sent us a message that they can take whatever they want. But we will send them a message that this is our land.
So, first things first, let's get this out of the way right off the bat. This is easily one of the most visually stunning movies ever made. This thing is beautiful. I mean, just breathtaking, gorgeous. There are still scenes in this movie where I have a slow jaw drop when looking at it because it's just like eye candy. I mean, just good gosh, there are some truly beautiful uses of color, and the creature designs are awesome. It's a truly stunning movie. It's the reason why I will keep rewatching it, is because it's just a fun movie to look at. And honestly, if I was to see like Life magazine or the New York Times or Rolling Stone claim Avatar is the most visually stunning movie of all time, I can't really argue with that, because it is. And I mean, like, the CGI, holy shit, the CGI is impressive. It's over 10 years old, and it is still impressive to look at. Unlike the CGI in a lot of shit now these days, because they rush CGI artists and they don't give enough time, and they overwork them, and it's real shitty. It's like back then in 2009, they got all the time they needed. And at least it feels like they did compared to today's standards. And so I kind of miss CGI like that, because they really put the effort into the CGI. And yeah, Avatar is a stunning movie. There was a couple of scenes when I rewatched it, it's like, okay, that's some spotty ass shit CGI right there. But it still looked infinitely better than anything coming out today. So, bravo! And then, of course, you can't talk about Avatar 2009 without talking about the 3D experience. And the 3D experience was really awesome. I saw the movie twice in 3D, and I didn't know that you could have a clear lens 3D effect like that. And it was awesome the first time. Just seeing plants with depth was really cool. Unfortunately, my dad went and saw it, and he couldn't appreciate it because he doesn't have the best eyes, and so the 3D effect was lost on him, which is unfortunate, because it's like, no, if you have good eyes, the 3D effect looks great, but you need to have good eyes to enjoy it, so that sucks. Although, in hindsight, probably the best 3D movie I saw was either Resident Evil 4 or 5, because they really just played around with the stuff coming out of you at the screen, and it was fun. And Avatar, there's like 3 scenes in all of the 3 hours where you only have something actually come out the screen at you. It's like, hey, I'm going to a 3D movie. I want to see shit come out at me. So, but objectively looking at Avatar, the story, it sucks. I mean, the story really sucks. And, like, I enjoy James Cameron movies. I like most of his movies. I'm not nuts about Titanic, but, I mean, it's still a decent movie. I'll watch it every now and then. but it's not my cup of tea. But there were still some truly amazing shots in that, like the ship breaking in half and whatnot, and the interior shots flooded was amazing. But you know, like I don't think anything he does is pure gold, but I enjoyed True Lies, I enjoyed The Abyss, and I enjoyed the director's cut of The Abyss, apart from the really terrible ending to the director's cut of The Abyss. I hated that ending. I could go on a tangent on that, but moving on, I love the 2 Terminator movies he did. I love Aliens, and so I kind of wish that the guy made more movies, because there was Titanic, and then he waited, what was it, a decade before his next movie, Avatar. And now it's been over a decade since his next movie, Avatar 2, is coming out. And it's like, there was an interview he did where it's like, yeah, I want to do Avatar 2, 3, which will be the first trilogy, and then I want to do 4, 5, and 6 will be the next trilogy. And then after that, we can see where we go from there from Avatar. It's just like, holy fucking shit, James. Cool your jets, okay? Like, okay, we get it. You like Avatar. I'm glad you're happy with this franchise. But good gosh, I remember the days when he was actually talking about doing other projects besides this. But going back, yeah, the story, well, it sucks. Now, I will give credit where credit's due. The premise is really awesome. I love the concept of mankind finds another planet or another world that has these humanoid indigenous creatures on it, and they create these human hybrids that mankind can control through like a matrix like neural link, and like just that whole concept is amazing. I absolutely loved it. It sold me when I saw the trailer for it. It's like, okay, this is a really, really cool concept, and I'm getting the feeling we're not going to see that concept so much in the next one. But it's a cool concept, and so it definitely sold me on entering the story of Pandora, or Avatar. But, like, the story itself is very lackluster. It kinda sucks, and I'm gonna get into it. And how I'm gonna first get into it is the MacGuffin of the story. I'm literally just picking up a piece of onyx, but, I mean, I might as well just pick up anything. Unobtainium. I can't believe that's the name of it. Yeah, basically, this is the thing that drives the entire story forward, is this MacGuffin. Unobtainium. I mean, we might as well call it impossible mineral. I mean, like, seriously, James, you couldn't have come up with a better name than Unobtainium? I mean, hell, Cypherite, or, Pandorite, Navarite. I mean, like, I'm just coming up with shit off the top of my head, and those are better than Unobtainium. But, yeah, there's this MacGuffin in the movie Unobtainium. It's the whole reason why mankind's there on Pandora. How do I know this? Because in the GFI Ribisi exposition dump, he says, this is the whole reason why we're here. And he basically gives the only information on this material in the entire 3-hour movie. I shit you not. This is the only reason why we're here. Unobtainium. It costs $20 million a kilo. And that's what's funding this whole science project. That is all we ever fucking hear about Unobtainium. Is that little exposition dump he has right there. There's nothing talking about why mankind wants it. There's nothing talking about why it's so crucial. There's nothing talking about why it's so fucking expensive for a kilo. I mean, okay, yeah, you could say they're moving it across space. That's why it's expensive. Okay, sure. You can also move dirt across space. You can move water across space. Why is Unobtainium so crucial to mankind? There is nothing in the movie that explains why it's crucial. And even in the extended cut, I was hoping we'd get some sort of explanation, and there is literally a line saying that, why are these mountains floating? Oh, well, Unobtainium is highly magnetic, and it conducts with the mountains. It's like, okay, That explained nothing to me, but so this is very conductive in magnetic activity. Why do we need that? There's like nothing explaining why unobtainium is so important. Now you're probably thinking it's just a plot device. You don't need to know why it's important. Well, it kind of leads into another huge plot hole. Like, what does it do really? We don't know. And it's the entire driving force for the human faction. Okay? That's why humanity is so eager to get to Home Tree. That is why they're so eager to... Because they want to mine the largest deposit they found underneath that tree. It's why the humans are absolute dicks in this movie. And it's like, we don't even know why they want this shit so bad. Come on, James. You could have given us something. And you know what? There's this one line that creates this huge plot hole in the movie the more you think about it. And unobtainium could have fixed it, James. And so this one line is, in the theatrical cut, there's a line where Jake Sully, he's talking to like the Tree of Souls or whatever it's called, and he says, look into my mind, look into my memories, you can see my world. We don't have trees anymore. We killed our mother. And it's like, okay, so Earth is a barren wasteland with absolutely no trees. So, you could have fixed that with unobtainium. And like the extended cut really makes the plot hole even worse, because the extended cut has this entire opening showing Jake Sully on Earth. And does he have a gas mask or a environmental suit? No, he's just rolling around in his wheelchair like it's 1999. Now you're probably thinking, why is that such a problem? Okay, simple science lesson. The reason why we have that air that we're breathing right now as you watch this is because of plant life. Trees, they are what's producing air. Trees and algae are producing air. If you have absolutely no plant life on Earth, guess what? There is no air anymore. And you would have something looking like that movie 2067, which is a lower budget, like sci-fi movie about a guy traveling through time to try and find plant life to bring back to his world, because his world is dying because no one has any air and everyone has to wear these gas masks to just stay alive. And like, that is a far more realistic depiction of a planet without trees than what we saw at the beginning of the extended cut on Avatar. And it's like, come on, James, you know this. Okay, you know that plants equals oxygen. Why you have all these people walking around with no masks on if they have no plants? It's a huge plot hole. And like, sure, you could say, well, in Aliens they had atmospheric processors. Is this a part of the alien universe? I didn't see anything like that. That'd be kind of cool if it was. And you should have said, yeah, good thing that atmospheric processor is helping us breathe back home. It's one line. You could have thrown it anywhere in the 3.5 hour runtime of this movie. And like, unobtainium could have easily fixed that. You just add one line at the beginning, and that corporate stooge could have said, this is unobtainium. This is the entire reason why we're here. 1 kilo cost $20 million. End of line here. This hunk I'm holding can provide enough oxygen to the entire continent of Australia for a week. That would have drastically changed the entire tone of the movie, because then the humans don't come off as just pure evil dicks. It's like, oh, well, I mean, they need that shit to fucking breathe. I get it. I mean, it's just like, oh, we could be rich off this. It's like, hey, we could actually live off this. Drastically changes the tone of the movie. And then it creates a gray area of like, should I side with the Na'vi or should I side with the humans? I mean, if you introduce that element, you would have like a moral conflict happening with the audience, and you would have a lot of people like having discussions like, hey, were the humans right or were the Na'vi right? I don't know, I'm kind of siding with the Na'vi, but the humans were dying, and so maybe the humans had a reason to at least try it, and you would have a really awesome, like, ethics conversation after the movie. But instead, the movie just decided to treat the audience members like fucking retarded idiots. It's just like, humans, bad. Na'vi, good. You want to root for the Na'vi because they're good. Humans, they just take. They're bad. And it's like, do you feel like a fucking idiot yet? I mean, you could have easily had a really great, like, moral conundrum. It's just like, I mean, even with Jake Sully, it's like, look, we need this shit to fucking breathe back home. But no, you didn't do that. You just, oh, let's just make humans 150 fucking % evil. No takeaways from that, apart from the scientist and one pilot. Okay, I mean, like, that's the only good humans in the movie. And, like, a lot of the soldiers at the end, I'm sure a lot of those guys, they were like, hey, I don't think we should be doing this. Like, we're ordered to do this? Okay, maybe we should just, like, look elsewhere. And, I mean, like, a lot of those guys probably didn't want to fucking fight the Na'vi. But the way it's decided, it's like, you have these soldiers like, yeah! And it's just like, really? I mean, I've met some soldiers, and, like, they do that when they're around barbecue, but they don't pull that shit when they're in combat. I mean, but it's not even an issue of misusing unobtainium. Like, most characters in this movie have absolutely no character development whatsoever. You got Jake Sully, and that's it. Like, Sully's the only character that has any real arc to him. Everyone else is very one-dimensional. You have the stock, arrogant scientist lady. You have stock, scientist guy who is a bookworm. You have stock corporate asshole. Stock, beta male scientist. Stock asshole evil military guy. Stock, you know, jealous love rival to the main character. You have the stock love interest. I mean, like, so many characters in this movie are one-dimensional stock-like characters. And you had 3.5 fucking hours to change that. And, like, okay, with the extended cut, they did actually do some good development scenes. There's this whole subplot introduced into the extended cut that shows that Thierry had a sister, and there's like this subplot with her, and it actually builds on the development of the Thierry's character. It was like, so with almost half an hour of additional footage, the only character you could have added to was the Thierry, maybe Sigourney Weaver's character, but I mean, she didn't feel like she evolved that much, although she did get some more development. But I mean, like, Colonel Kittredge, if I'm not screwing up his name, had a lot of really cool moments in the movie, but he had absolutely no fucking development. Like, I like Stephen Lang. I think he's really a good actor. I think he got this really cool resurgence of new work with the movie Avatar, because before Avatar, it's like, oh, I thought Stephen Lang was dead, and it's like, oh no, he's still alive, and now he's getting a shit ton of work because of Avatar, which is awesome, and the guy's in a lot of shit now. I mean, hell, he's in all these little indie films, and it's like, he plays a good, grumpy, badass old guy, and it's awesome, but he has more development in his other movies that he did in Avatar. Like, holy hell, his horror movie Don't Breathe, in both of them, he had more development than in Avatar. I mean, Avatar, it's like, why does he hate the Na'vi so much? Is he like a board member on the corporation that, like, is he going to make a shit ton of money? Or, like, they don't establish this. Did he have a really bad experience with the Na'vi when he was younger? They don't really establish this. Yeah, they have the scar on his head. It's like, I got this day one. And it's like, okay, but did Na'vi do that? No, one of those jackal things did. It's like, why do you hate the Na'vi so much? Don't ask questions, just follow the movie. It's like, he's supposed to be pure evil, but we never get a good explanation why he's pure evil. Maybe the sequel will explain this, but the first one should have done a better job explaining this. And so, I mean, just that's one example of how most of the characters have no real character development, and you had 3 hours to do it. By the way, I love how real fucking subtle the allegories are in this movie, James. I mean, like, you see that monitor there? yeah, that represents the American flag. And it's just like, although I have to be fair, comparing 2009's James Cameron's allegories to today's allegories, 2009's allegories are so much more fucking subtle than today's allegories. Good gosh, have you seen some of the allegories in the new Lord of the Rings series? Like, just, why don't you just get a fucking hammer and bash me over the head with it? You're that fucking subtle, Amazon. But, I mean, looking at James Cameron's earlier works that had allegories, like Aliens, the allegories in Aliens are so fucking subtle. You could watch that movie 20 times and not realize that, oh yeah, the Colonial Marines are like American army soldiers, and the aliens are like the Viet Cong. I mean, like, Aliens was kind of an allegory for the Vietnam War, how American soldiers were overconfident and whatnot. It's like, you could watch that movie 20 times and not catch that. But in 2009's Avatar, it's like, yeah, the allegories are real fucking subtle, not, James. And like, now today's allegories make 2009's allegories look like as subtle cool as, I mean, just like, good gosh, it's night and day comparison. And so, like, honestly, watching it today's standards, it's not that obnoxious to watch, because it's like, yeah, this aged much better than a lot of the shit coming out today is going to age. No joke about that. But, like, you want to know who the worst character was in the movie? It wasn't Colonel Kittredge, no! He was not the bad guy in the movie. You want to know who the bad guy was? Jake Sully! He was the bad guy! And look, I like Sam Worthington. I think the only issue I have with that actor is he has a really weird-ass scream. It's like a, yeah! He has a weird scream. But, no, I mean, I like him as an actor, and, like, the character was kind of likable, but at the same time, that character could have avoided all the shit that happened in the movie. Because he had one job. You had one job to do. And you didn't fucking do it. Look, we need you to find a diplomatic, peaceful way of getting those people out from under that tree so we can tear it down and start drilling. You got 3 months to do it. What does he do? He just hangs out with the natives until the final 5 minutes before they get there. And it's like, yeah, Sky people are coming, they're going to blow up your home. You gotta go. And obviously, it's like, yeah, no, we're not leaving. This is our home. It's like, you had 3 fucking months, Jake, to tell them, yeah, in 3 months' time, the Sky people are going to get here. And they're going to destroy your home. Now, they're looking for a peaceful solution, so can you work with me here? And, like, at least you could have tried for 3 months, but no. He's just like, how do I hold a bow and arrow? Like this? Oh boy, this is so much fun. Hey, Jake, how's the negotiations coming? I'm working on it. I mean, like, seriously, you had 3 fucking months, and this guy could have avoided all-out war with the indigenous population, but no. Shittiest diplomat ever. I have to say that. This guy is the worst ambassador ever. If someone said, yeah, the new ambassador to China is going to be this guy in a wheelchair called Jake Sully, it's like, no, I don't want to go to war. I mean, and if you don't believe me, just the guys over at How It Should Have Ended did perfectly.
We are so thankful the Sky People will no longer destroy our land.
I hate to ask now, but why were they knocking over trees in the first place?
Oh, who really knows?
Wait, no one ever told you?
No.
What? Jake, whatever happened to becoming one of them and earning their trust so you could explain what we needed?
Well, I was going to, but I sort of hooked up with Natiri instead.
Dude, people are dead now!
Yeah, my bad, guys. My bad.
And then another thing that's just really weird is, like, in the theatrical version, they used this line twice, but in the extended version, they only used it once. So, I guess I like they took one of them out, but like there's this line they used twice. It's like, we have nothing to offer the Na'vi. All we have to offer them is a cold beer and blue jeans. It's like, James, we have a fucking lot more to offer than just a type of clothing and cold beer. By the way, did you offer them cold beer? They may like it, alright? Like, they may go, what's this? Oh, it's called refrigeration. You can have your drinks cold. It's like, we only can have cool drinks like once a year. And it's right before the snows come. It's like, yeah, no, we have these machines that actually make drinks cold. Like, that's one thing we could have given them. Or it's like, hey, you. Yeah, you. You want to go up to space? See what space is like? Okay. Like, hey, we need an ambassador. We need a couple of ambassadors to go see our homeworld and talk with our politicians and, you know, start negotiating trade with your planet. Like, look, I mean, maybe we can help you guys spread out to other planets in the cosmos. You ever think of that? Because keep in mind, the Na'vi did not breathe oxygen. They breathed like a special chemical gas. You know how many other planets there are in the cosmos that don't have oxygen, but could potentially have their air? Like, holy shit, there's so much we could have offered the Na'vi, and yet the movie, the writers, the director, it's like, oh no, all we have to offer is blue jeans and beer. It's like, maybe they'd like beer. Or another thing they could have done is like, hey, we have a whole bunch of food. We want to see if you guys can eat any of it without getting sick, and we want to try a bunch of your food and see if we can eat it without getting sick. Let's go. And the Na'vi was like, yeah, sure, I got nothing better to do. I mean, there's just so many things we could have done, but in the narrow mind focus, it's just humans, bad, contribute nothing. Na'vi, good, contribute everything. Do you feel like a fucking idiot yet? And then later on in the movie, Home Tree gets destroyed because, you know, Jake's terrible at his job. You know? And so basically his girlfriend hates him because he waited till the last minute to tell her and didn't lead off with, hey, I'm an ambassador for the Sky people and I'm here to try and get you guys to move out. And then it's not the relationship. It's like, hey, you tried to warn us, but no, it's just last minute, like, yeah, I deceived you guys all at the beginning. Please trust me. It's like, you know, but so basically he's an outcast and he's like wandering around, doesn't know what to do, and he decides, okay, my girlfriend hates me, her people hate me, I'm an outcast. How do I get back in their good graces? I'm gonna get a new red Corvette. That'll work. It fucking does! Or the equivalent of on Pandora. He basically got a new red Corvette. And everyone's just like, oh wow. So, welcome back to the family, Jake. I mean, he's like, damn it, James. People are not that fucking shallow. Maybe he feels to not feel that shallow. But I mean, it's just like, really? That worked. That bullshit worked. Okay. Okay, this is the type of writing we're dealing with. And then, of course, the ending, while I love the final battle sequence, the final third act battle sequence, the ending's really taped together because it's just like, after the battle's over and they defeat Kittredge, it's like, oh, the humans, they banish the humans from Pandora. It's like, that wouldn't have fucking happened. Like, okay, unless Kittredge is a fucking moron, he would not have brought his entire military force. He would have left an adequate security force to defend the fortified base that's been fortified for the past 10 years, okay? I think the timeline when humans got there was like 15 years, something like that, give or take, because Sigourney Weaver said the school was closed down 10 years ago. So it's been like 10 years since the school was closed down. And so it's been like over 10 years since they had that base. So there's going to be fortified positions, like sentry guns that auto-detect targets. This is in the future, and James Cameron used that tech with another future movie of his, Aliens. So if you're going to make the argument that Earth has an atmospheric processor, I can make the argument that their base has sentry turrets. Alright? But even if they didn't, they would leave a sufficient military force to defend that base. Trying to get into that military base would be an entire, completely different battle. But according to this movie's logic, once they had that one battle away on the distant battlefield, that was it. The war's over. The bad guys go home with their tails tucked between the legs. It's like, it wouldn't fucking happen like that. If you did a full-out assault on the base, and that was the third act, then you could have that scene play out, where they're running to their ship with their tail tucked between the legs. And it's like, also, the Na'vi would not have been that peaceful, because numerous times the Na'vi said, we will kill them all. We will kill all the Sky people, anything they send us. And then once they raid their village, it's like, oh, you guys can leave peacefully now. It's like, no, the Na'vi would fucking slaughter them all. Send a message, okay? I mean, the Na'vi... Look, this is going to sound super racist to a fictitious alien species, but they made a point to show how savage the Na'vi are, especially in battle. In the extended cut, there is a scene. They killed everyone at one of the dig sites. I mean, there's like just video footage. It's like, yep, everyone's dead. They left. They spared no one here, sir. I mean, that's in the extended cut. And so you expect me to believe that just overnight they switched from their warrior brutal ways? It's just like, oh, you can go in peace now. You know, it's just like, that wouldn't fucking happen. Who the hell is writing this movie? And even if that did happen, and they sent the humans away in space, I like to refer back to how it should have ended, because this would have happened then.
Look, let's just bug out and call it even, okay? What have we been talking about this for?
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah. Game over, man.
I mean, James, you do know that humans are very petty. We have to have the last word. It's like in our DNA. Human beings always have to have the last word. That's why arguments go on for fucking hours. And, like, seriously, if humanity got knocked off that planet, they would have fucking nuked the site from orbit. Okay? And then, okay, James, you had to know that people were going to make a shit ton of sex jokes with the ponytail connector thing. Alright? You do this thing where, like, everything gets connected through the ponytail, and you even make a joke yourself about it. Like, don't play with that, you're gonna go blind. Like, that is a sex joke, James! And you just walked right into it. I mean, like, are you trying to make some serious sexual innuendos, James? Or it's just, like, I honestly didn't think people would make as many sex jokes about that as I thought they would. I mean, it's so... And then let's talk about the sequel real quick. I am interested in seeing the sequel in 3D on the big screen. Apparently, there's a new type of motion capturing method they did that you could do underwater to create realistic CG characters out of the water. And that one shot from the trailer looks really fucking good. Do I think the story's going to be any good? I highly doubt it. I think it's going to be same quality as the first movie. I will be pleasantly surprised if the story is better than the first movie. I'm not expecting it. But that being said, I'm still going to see this because that movie, like the first movie, is going to be visually stunning as hell. James Cameron knows how to make a beautiful movie. It can't be argued. The first Avatar was beautiful. The trailer showed me that the next one is going to be super stunning and gorgeous. And I'm also hoping that they have the same group of guys that did CGI in 2009. And I hope that they have the time they need to do CGI here. Hopefully this will be a new benchmark for CGI. So, like, you know, assholes like Disney will go, huh, maybe we should give our CGI artists a little bit more time. So... But, I mean, like, the sequel, already there's one issue I'm seeing, and every single actor is coming back for the sequel, except for Michelle Rodriguez. Apparently she pissed someone off because she's not coming back. But, I mean, Sigourney Weaver's back, although she's playing a different character, and then even Stephen Lane is coming back. So, like, what? His death meant nothing in the first one. Like, Seriously, if you bring him back, can we at least get some decent fucking development on his character? Because, I mean, there's like this writing rule. The village should think that he's the protagonist in his own story. I mean, in Avatar, it felt like he knew he was the antagonist in his own story, alright? There was no point, it felt like he thought he was the protagonist in his own story. And so, I'm hoping maybe he'll finally get some development, but I don't know. I'm doubtful, and I'm not expecting a lot out of the story. I'm going to that movie for the visuals. I'm going to that movie for the 3D experience, for the visual experience, and to, like, just look at the pretty colors, because it is a beautiful franchise. And honestly, I'll probably keep watching this series until James Cameron finally gets burnt out on Avatars, because, I mean, it's beautiful to look at. What can I say? It's like a piece of art in an art gallery. Okay, it may not be about something you like it could be The Girl with the Pearl Earring. You've seen that work of art. It's like, honestly, it does nothing interesting in terms of substance for me, but it's still a beautiful work of art. It's still gorgeous and stunning, and it's like, okay, I mean, that's kind of how I see the Avatar movies. Nothing of substance, but it is so beautiful to look at. And so yeah, that's been my thoughts on the very first Avatar film. What do you guys think? Do you guys disagree with any of my thoughts? Do you guys agree with any of my thoughts? Let me know down in the comments section below. My name is Christopher Cobb, 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all.